Let me start the show with a fun basketball analogy. Last night I'm playing pickup basketball. I've explained this on the show before. For those of you who don't play pickup basketball, the rules are that you call your own fouls. So if you've been fouled, you say, hey, I've been fouled, and the other team is supposed to respect that call. And it works both ways. You shouldn't call BS fouls because otherwise the game breaks down and we're going to have a little bit of anarchy. And at the same time, even if you think the other person's call is a little shaky, you should respect it anyway because we don't have professional refs here, right? And every once in a while, a Republican will come into the game and totally screw it up. And that's what happened last night. Now, when I say a Republican, I don't mean that the kid actually votes Republican. I mean that he represents Republicans in this fun political analogy we're about to do. So last night was one of those nights. Guy comes out on the court. It's a great game. Everybody's having fun. Really, really close. Except this one guy, every time he's touched or not touched, every time he has the ball, foul. Throws up the ball and goes foul. All right. Now, people do this sometimes when they're not very good. People do it to cheat, basically, to try to win. And the other thing that they do is when you call foul, they don't respect it. And they argue and argue and argue, right? And the guy does this systematically. I don't know. He's got a psychological problem, right? And a perfect example of it is in the middle of the game, I have the ball. He slaps me in the face. This is a literal story, okay? And I said, all right, foul. And he said, what are you talking about? Where's the foul? You'd already lost the ball. I'm like, yeah, I lost the ball when you slapped me in the face. That is the prototypical foul call, right? And everybody's like looking at him like, come on, dude, are you serious, right? But he does this throughout the whole game. And what was the final result of it? Well, it comes down to 12-12, and we play the games to 13, so it's a tie ball game, couldn't be any closer. And they have the last possession, and they score. And they win 13-12. So, score a victory for the bad guys. Did his ranting and raving help him? Absolutely. They got about 2 to 4 more possessions in the game because of his total nonsense calls. What you can effectively characterize as cheating, right? And that's exactly what the Republicans do during the elections. And the reason I bring up this whole thing is because in the middle of all this, towards the end of the game, after he makes every nonsense call, and I'll tell you that it's not just me. I'll explain at the end how everybody agreed to this, right? You'll see at the end of the story. So anyway, towards the end of the game, he says, turns to one of the guys on our team. He's like, what? You're 100% right on every issue, and I'm 100% wrong on every call? No, obviously that can't be. So you have to respect my call, right? And I don't respect your call. And it's exactly what the Republican Party's been doing for the last 8 years, turning to the media after hitting people in the face and making 100% of the wrong calls, and then go, oh, what? You got to be balanced. You can't, what? Oh, the Democrats are right 100% of the time? We're wrong 100%? It can't be, right? So you have to call them dirty and us dirty, and you have to call them wrong and us wrong, all at the same time. And if you ever dare call us wrong, then you got to call them wrong just as much. I mean, the guy must have went to the Karl Rove School of Basketball. Right? So what happens? They won the first game because they cheated and they had a better advantage. They won the second game. And by the end of the third game, no one wanted to play with them. Literally. Not only the opposing teams, but half of his own team had turned on the guy. And they were like, I can't, there's no sense in playing this game anymore. You've lost us. Right? And so the first game in this tight, fun little analogy is 2000. The second game is 2004. Yes, in the short term, your antics and your screaming and your whining and your cheating definitely helped you. And it sucks, but that's the way the world works. It did. But in the third game, 2008, nobody wants to play with you anymore, man. You've lost half your own team. And they look at you and go, ah, pathetic. So that's exactly where the Republicans find themselves today.